Alright, welcome back to the channel, guys. Hope you guys are doing well. Today we're going to be doing a review on a pomade from Singapore. Today we got in store SoSlick Unorthodox wax. So we're going to be doing the usual. It's going to be design of the jar, application process, my initial thoughts on it. We'll get throughout the day and see how it kind of performs and how it endures. And then finally, my final thoughts on it. So you guys know the drill. We'll go ahead and jump right into it and take a look at the design of the jar. All right, when we take a look at the design of the jar, we see that it comes in a 4-ounce or equivalent 100 milliliter plastic container. We have a plastic lid as well as a plastic body. We got sticker label on top as well as one on the side. We have the Unorthodox wax, like title of the product. Superior hold matte finish, made in Singapore. And then we got a little bit of a description of what the product actually is, ingredients, and then finally just a little bit of an illustration on how to apply the product itself. Kind of neat for those who are just basically brand new to the pomade game. So when we take a look at the inside of the jar, we see that the product itself is a little bit on the creamier side. It's definitely not going to be a pure base or a pure wax or even like a pure clay. It's, I'd say, a mix of pretty much everything. We see that it's a thicker consistency than the cream, more thick than the paste, but also at the same time not as hard as a wax or a clay that we're traditionally used to. So let's go ahead and get to the application process and see what we get. I'm gonna go ahead and just use that scoop that we took out. So we'll start with about that much of a scoop first and then start applying more as needed. So right now I do have a little bit of a buildup from one day of use of the Unorthodox wax. So definitely better assessment of how the product actually performs than when applying it fresh, just because day one for pretty much any product, from my experience, never works super well or as intended. And that's just for my type of hair. I feel like day one you kind of need to train your hair or just get your hair used to it. So typically day 2, 3, and 4 are like pristine days for almost like any product, and just to really see how different products perform at their optimal. So today's going to be a 2 scooper day. As you guys see, applying it has a little bit of resistance. It is on the drier side of a product. So if you guys want to avoid that, apply it with a little bit of, like, I'd say, damp hair. But with my experience, applying dry products onto damp hair never has worked super well. And for this, for example, it just kind of lessens the hold and breaks down the integrity of the product, for me at least. So 2 scoops, we got pretty good results. Right off the bat, we get a good solid strong hold, not slick to any degree, a little bit considering the name, it's so slick, but we don't get a tremendous amount of oils, so we don't really get that like super neat clean look. Unorthodox wax, it errs on the side of being mixed with a clay. It even says in the description that it's a hybrid with clays. So definitely 2 of the more drier categories in hair products. Don't expect too much slickness to come from that. So let's see how the product kind of settles in. We get a good amount of volume, somewhat of a natural shine. I'd say it's very matte, but with day 2 and a little bit of buildup, I'd say there's a very small amount of shine. We get decent amount of volume. The product is very sticky, so that kind of offsets the dryness and like that grittiness that we get with like a pure base or pure clay base formula. Volume kind of gets sacrificed a little bit, but you still get a good amount of hold to kind of balance everything out. So we'll go ahead and do a finger comb just because just because. So let's go ahead and give you guys a little bit of 360 tour. I can already see a little bit of strays. You guys can use more product to clean that up, but for me right now, I think this is it. So definitely enough hold to hold everything back. Everything is in place. Good amount of texture and a decent amount of slickness. More on the matte, natural shine realm of things. And then lastly, the scent itself, I describe it as like almost like a clean linen scent with a little bit of like floral notes to it. Nothing on the cologne or like heavier side of scents or like even, I guess, woodsy. This is more of like, yo, this is clean, this is nice, and this is just like pretty soft to the nose. So nothing overpowering, I mean. Cool. So today's going to be a fairly simple day. We'll go ahead and get through a lot of photo editing, a lot of just emails, and then a little bit of cleaning, and see what we get at the end of the day. So I think that's good. Let me double check. Looking fresh. Yo. Cool. One more double check. Sick. All right, so I'm gonna call it there. I'll catch you guys in a little bit as we get throughout the day. So see you soon. Peace. All right, welcome back, guys. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. So right now we're at about hour 8. Give you guys a little bit of a tour. As you guys can see, things have shifted here and there. With most dried products, from my experience, things do kind of flatten out. That's just because the product kind of deteriorates throughout the day, and that's kind of expected, or at least, again, from my experience, most products just don't last completely the same throughout the day. It does need restyling it, and basically that's what we're gonna do. So in terms of a dry product, this is gonna present a little bit of resistance just because there's a lot of grittiness, and like initially the product was pretty sticky. That kind of leads towards a very not gel-like property, but more of, not in the sense that it's like crackly, it's more of like things are now like held together. So if you're going to restyle it, there's going to be a little bit of resistance. So we'll go ahead and restyle it and see what we get. So things do move. They're still malleable, not crusty. We're able to kind of clean things up pretty well. And in terms of strays, I'd say there's a little bit more than what we had in the beginning. Again, that's very predicted. Hold isn't as strong. It's still there, and we can definitely still style to how we want, but it's, I'd say, about like 80% of what we had in the beginning. So definitely restylable without the need for like extra water or extra product. If you guys want to see, I'll go ahead and use a comb just to show you guys what we can do. So it is going to be super dry. I would try and keep restyling to a minimum, just because the product will kind of diminish even more rapidly the more you kind of mess with it. So the comb lines are pretty responsive. Hold, again, isn't as strong as what we had in the beginning. Flexibility isn't as great, but you're still going to be able to restyle at the end of the day if you do need that. So scent at this point is gone. I'd say the natural shine that you had in the beginning, with the product kind of, I guess, setting in and just like all the water evaporating, you do get a very matte finish. So I think that's pretty much it. So there we have it. That's going to be the SoSlick Unorthodox wax. Again, it's unorthodox because it's a hybrid with clays and waxes in general. Definitely seen a surge of like a lot of mixes of different products of like waxes and clays and oils, clays and sea salt sprays, and just like the list keeps going on. I'm super stoked that people are experimenting just to see what we can kind of come up with. So stay tuned. We're definitely just going to keep cranking out reviews, give you guys perspective on what's out there in the market, and hope you guys find like a product you guys like. So catch you guys next time. Peace.